Hey guys, I'm Jacqueline.
And I'm Marcella.
And today we want to talk to you about Shadowhunter Academy. Isn't it so pretty?
It's so good. Oh. If you haven't read this,
I just finished last night.
This is what it looks like. It's like the most beautiful cover, and it's shiny, and it has Simon, and it's gorgeous.
And it's signed by Cassie and Alberto. We went to the signing with all of our Shadowhunter friends.
It was so much fun.
It was
honestly like the best signing I think we've ever been to. We've been to it quite a lot.
It was wonderful. And oh my god, we love like the Shadowhunter world so much. And now we can finally read Lady Midnight. We're gonna go story by story and kind of just fangirl and die because
it was such a good book, guys. Like, the Bane Chronicles was really good, but this is just like on another level. Yeah, it's amazing.
This comes right after City of Heavenly Fire.
If you haven't read Lady Midnight yet, you need to read this first. It's very important that you read this first before you start Lady Midnight, because there'll be little things that you will get spoiled on.
Alright, so now if you haven't read it, you can't really watch this, because we're gonna go story by story.
Haven't read it, just read it.
And you could come and talk it out with us. Bye if you have not read it. So the first story is Welcome to Shadowhunter Academy. This is our first look now at Simon as not a vampire and without his memories.
Yeah, and he's pretty lost too, because he doesn't know who he is, and he doesn't know how to act around the people that he used to be friends with. You know, he doesn't know where he stands with Clary, with Isabel, even with Alec. He's like, Alec's acting weird. You know, he doesn't understand like what his relationship is with these people and how they expect him to act. And he's very confused about that. And we get our first look at Shadowhunter Academy, which is a hellhole.
A hellhole, it's a dump.
It's a dump. The food.
They eat like soup in the first few stories. They eat like this terrible
I love it though.
soup.
I love it. Even though the place is terrible, you could just tell it's just a great place. Like I would love to go there.
Yeah. We meet our characters. We meet our friends there. We've got George Lovelace. I love George. He's so funny. And him and Simon like hit it off, and there's this really funny scene in the first story when they're looking for the possum and like the wardrobe.
Yes.
There's animals and there's rats that live in the Shadowhunter Academy. We meet Julie and Marisol, and then there's Beatrice. John Cartwright, yeah, who's a bully, because they're separated. They're the dregs, and then there's the elite. And the elites are like these Shadowhunter families who these kids are who are already Shadowhunters.
And because Simon saved the world with all of our friends, he's counted as the elite. It doesn't feel like he's earned it to be there, because he's not from a Shadowhunter family, you know.
There's like the cool kids kind of, and John is a part of that because he's a Cartwright, and so is Julie. I don't even remember what family she's from, but they all are already Shadowhunters. I love how throughout the entire book, as the stories progress, that changes.
Because of Simon.
Because of Simon.
Because of how he views and how he knows that that's wrong and he wants to change it.
But George, I freaking love George. Like, we were just like, when you go back with the possum.
Laying in bed, and George is just like, he's laying in bed, he's just like, where did it come from, Simon? Where did it go? The possum. It's just, that's a great line.
Simon, he's not very good at Shadowhunter Academy in the beginning. It's like this prolonged gym class, and he's just like, I can't keep up with these people. And it's like this never-ending gym class for him.
Izzy at the end of the first one, and she comes in proclaiming her love for Simon, and she's all like, you see him, that's my boyfriend, if you touch him, I'm gonna kill you all.
Just leave him alone, you can't do anything with him. And that's my lecture, goodbye everyone.
That was great.
Oh, the Sizzy, oh my god, the Sizzy.
The next story,
the Lost Herondale.
Guys, it was Lost Herondale, running loose, and we gotta find them.
Don't spoil us if you know something. Like, I don't know, we haven't read Lady Midnight yet.
Yeah, if you know something, don't tell us. Like, we have no idea who the Lost Herondale is.
But there is a Lost Herondale. As soon as I read that, I'm like, no way did Cassie put that in just for shits and giggles.
No.
Like, there is something going on with that. There is a Herondale. I'm gonna find you.
We're trying to figure out when.
We're
trying to figure out when they're gonna bring that in. If they haven't already in Lady Midnight, don't tell us. But we don't know.
Will it be TDA? Will it be will it be the Magnus stories? I don't know, but I'm excited to see where that goes. But that story was really sad. Tobias Herondale.
Yeah, it was a pretty sad story.
It was a sad story, and it really shows how, like, messed up the Clave is. Like, the Clave has always been really messed up, because they're all like, the law is hard, but it is the law. Yeah,
you get that a lot in this, in all these stories. You get how terrible the Clave is.
They're awful. Yeah. What they did to, his wife, because the whole story was Tobias runs away because he gets, like, so scared of not being able to be there for his wife and his future child, because she's pregnant. And the Clave is like, that's cowardice. You are unworthy. Killed the wife. And Katerina got there in time and got the baby and ended up raising the baby.
So Katerina knows where that baby is.
Magnus knows. Magnus knows everything, though. Like, come on. Yeah. Like, Magnus knows everything.
There's nothing that Magnus doesn't know.
Third story. Whitechapel Fiend. Oh my god. This was one of my favorites.
That was... Once you realize who it's about, you cry a little bit, and then it's like, okay, I can do this.
It's this, like, adventure story of James and Tessa.
And Tessa and Jem.
And James is, like, a baby in it. And it's, like, them as parents with Will.
Oh my god, and Will in it is all, like, oh, look how he holds that dagger. Look at him, he's gonna be a great Shadowhunter.
And Tessa's like, I don't think this is appropriate, Will.
Tessa's like, he's a baby, Will. And Will's just like, look how he handles that.
Will's like, don't worry, I'm watching him. Them as parents, I was in tears, guys. Tears. As soon as Tessa walks in and she gives the lecture, Jace is there. Jace came in that one, and he came as, like, this instructor. But I loved that scene when he comes in and Simon is like, seriously, he's our instructor, and they're like meant to be climbing this tree. It's like 15 feet high, and Jace like does it like it's nothing, and he's like, okay, your turn. And they all like struggle.
I really like bonded with Simon as he's trying to like get through all these like terrible exercises. Like, imagine if you're in gym class and you had to jump out of a tree. Like, that's how Simon felt. He was so scared.
Really? And then at the end you find out that he spoke for hours with Tessa, and I wish we got that conversation. It's
obviously
like,
they talked about like his ancestors and
she
Will.
told him about Will and James.
I need that. We need that.
Tessa's like, I'll take you and Clary on a tour of the Herondale.
Guys.
If she gives us that story,
oh my god,
I need it. I need it. Like, someone write it. Like, I need that in my life.
That should be like a short story just for us. Cassandra Clare should just give us that.
Please. The whole thing with
Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper, how Jack the Ripper was a demon, and it was like this demon child.
And then they saw like the baby go into the fire.
Yeah, all the babies were spread out. He like went and they took all the babies.
They took all the children and like spread them out.
We also saw Gabriel in this too. We saw Gabriel and we saw Cecily. Now they're like in-laws and they're all family, and it's just so beautiful.
I love though how they're always like, oh, call Brother Zachariah.
Yeah, and Brother Zachariah ends up involved.
They make up these like crazy excuses.
Nothing But Shadows is the next story.
Nothing But Shadows. It was, I don't know if it was my favorite, but it was definitely up there at my top.
With James and Matthew Fairchild.
I love how it paralleled though, like that story really paralleled like Simon at the academy, because it winded up that James did the same thing back then that Simon did.
Yeah, James was also having
to go with the dregs.
Yeah, James was also kind of having an identity issue because he felt like he had to measure up to Will, because Will was like this hero. Seeing Will as a father bring him, and how he stole Gabriel's carriage, I was dying. And like, I was dying about that. He's like, I don't think we're supposed to have this, and he's like, it's alright.
Will's just like, it's okay, son.
I loved how James was kind of like this lost person too. I related so well to that, how he's kind of like this person, he's like, I just want to read, like I don't need to really socialize. Like, he grew up with just his sister and his parents, so he was so comfortable with his family.
Yeah, he was very relatable in that sense.
To go out, he was kind of like, oh my god, am I supposed to be friends with these people? I think my father wants me to be friends with the Carstairs, like things like that.
He like stood in front of them and they kind of looked at him and he's just like like, he didn't even know what to say. He didn't know what to say. And he's thinking in the back of his head, like, I'm never gonna have friends now.
I loved Matthew. Like, I love Matthew. I'm so excited
he reminded me of Jace a lot.
Oh my gosh, he's like this super charming, witty, even sarcastic guy. And he's just trying to get kicked out of the academy. He's doing so bad at school. Like, he's making teachers not want to show up to class, and everybody still loves him. And James is like, why do people like this guy? And then at the end, I love that scene that they had when James goes outside to kind of like be alone, and he sees Matthew running, and then they have that conversation where he's like, I'm jealous of you, and then he's like, well, I was jealous of you. Actually, they become parabatai at the end.
And he ends up leaving with him.
Yeah, because at the
they
end...
end up getting kicked out.
No, I love that scene when they go and they kill that demon, because the people there were kind of jerks to James, obviously, because once they see that he has that ability to turn into a shadow, they're kind of like, what is wrong with this guy? He's a freak. And James is like, I can't go home because of this, because I don't want my mother to feel bad.
That was so sweet, though. Like, he didn't want Tessa to blame herself.
Uncle Jem comes
Uncle Jem
and comforts James. Matthew and James go and they kill that demon, and I love when you see them fighting together, because you see them fighting and Matthew knows where James is when he's a shadow. Like, they just flow so well together, like,
which is why they become parabatai.
Yeah, and at the end, Matthew's like, please take me back with you, Mr. Herondale. I want to train at the Institute, please. I just blew up the tower over there for us. Like, I'm about to get kicked out of school too. I just want to go with you. And Will is just like, Charlotte's gonna kill me for this.
He's like, but okay. He's like, we're gonna have to stop and see Uncle Jem on the way home.
No, he goes, so the debris from the South Tower, you know, anyone can be hurt. Best to stop on the way to the Silent City and see the Silent Brothers. And he says it cheerfully. Matthew was like, I don't know about that. But James is like, you'll understand how my dad is with the Silent Brothers. Then the next story, The Evil We Love. That was a really interesting story. I think
this was one of the longer ones too.
Yeah, our friend Ashley told me that some people didn't like that story. I think it's so interesting.
It wasn't my favorite, but I did like it. Like, I enjoyed it, and I thought that it was interesting because we got the story of Robert Lightwood.
Yeah, I love like intricate characters. Like, I loved getting like that backstory.
Well, because you know we never liked him as a character, any of us. Yeah, I don't think we particularly liked him, and to get his backstory and to realize like why he is the way he is.
I still don't like him, but I understand.
You understand him a little bit more.
Yeah, and then at the very end, you kind of really see how he's trying, and that's really sweet. He was so terrible to Michael Whalen, his parabatai, who you find out was in love with him, and he's like, never say that again. It's never gonna be the same now. And
I love how we got Valentine, like young Valentine, because you really like realize just how persuasive he was and how evil he was, and just it was so interesting.
Valentine right next to Sebastian is like one of like the best villains ever.
Like, he really thought that he was doing the right thing.
Yeah, well then you find out the whole backstory for him too, how his parents got killed by downworlders,
which is why he hated them so much.
And oh god, and seeing Stephen Herondale and how Stephen Herondale was so invested in trying to do the right thing towards Valentine. Like, he wanted Valentine to like him so much, and I want to know why. I want to see Herondale's story. I want to know his story, though, because no way would a Herondale be like that. Like, I don't know. There's something. There's something there. Oh, I love seeing Luke, and Jocelyn. You kind of see them. Yeah. You
didn't really get Jocelyn as much, though, in it.
No, I was expecting a little bit more. It was more focused on Robert, because Robert came to the academy. And then there was the whole thing with Izzy trying to persuade everybody, like, oh, guys, let's go raise a demon. And everyone's like, okay. Simon is like, what?
Simon's like, we're not supposed to do this, guys. And they just like kind of ignore him. And everybody's just like, let's go raise a demon.
At the end, it was like a test, and that was the whole thing. How Robert was like, you see how everybody could be persuaded so easily. You have to know the right thing. And
Izzy's just like, I knew you wouldn't fall for it, Simon.
Side note, I love how Jace teases Simon about being like having no memory of the two of them. Like, he was like, when he like gave him the letter, he's like, good night, Wiggles.
And he's like, that's what I always called you. You don't remember?
You told us to call you that. At the end of The Evil We Love with Izzy, and Izzy's like, you know, I'm sorry that I didn't read the note that you sent me. And Simon's like, all like cool. He's like, well, I could just, you know, give you one in person. I'll send you. And Izzy's like, Izzy's like, yeah, sometimes something that would be like nice, like it's a date.
She did it so perfect where like their relationship they got closer and closer and closer and closer. It's just beautiful.